Hi everyone, a very good noon to all of you. I hope all of you are well, hale and hearty, and you are preparing for CAT and OMETs in full gear. Yes. So to make quant easy for you, we have brought this new concept here, quant hua Saril. Okay, do find out what it is about, right? Saril sir also talked to you about this in a short that he will be coming to you with one question and he will be attempting it in a very easy manner for you, right? So do catch him in these short little sessions, and I'm sure you'll gain a lot from it, right? So let's start with our session today. 50 must know vocabulary words. This is the part 3 of this session. So we have covered two parts already. In case you haven't watched them, in case you want to improve your vocabulary, then do go through them. Okay. Hi Sonali. Good noon. Hi Indian. How are you? I hope I'm clearly visible and audible. All right, so our agenda is always the same in our vocabulary sessions. We aim to learn new words and we aim to cover as many question types as possible, right? So in the previous sessions, we've covered analogy, fill in the blanks, contextual vocabulary, one word substitution, so on and so forth. So today, we'll look at some synonym antonym questions, some spelling questions, very essential for your OMETs, idiom questions, and a couple of odd word out questions. All right. So let's get started. Okay, Sonali has a question. Hi Abhishek, good noon. So Sonali is asking how many RCs should we solve in a mock? Sonali, the answer is very simple, as many as you can, right? So you have four RC passages. I understand that initially when you start taking a mock, attempting all four along with all the 8 questions of VA seems like a tough task. So initially some students attempt just 3 RCs. So see if that works for you. Okay. I usually do not recommend leaving an RC completely. Why? Because you never know how the easy questions are spread in an RC passage. It's quite possible that, let's say, if you have, just a second, uh, okay, that this is connected, all right. Anyway, so what I'm saying is that it's quite possible. Just give me a second, okay? I'm just connecting the pen tab. It seems it's not working properly. Yeah. So initially what happens with students is that they may go for 3 RC passages, right? So now the 3 RCs that you go for, it's possible that two of them are easy. That's why you picked them. One of them you found moderate or moderate to difficult, or maybe difficult also. So let's say you are sure about just one question here or 1 to 2 questions here. Whereas here, let's say you are sure about 3 out of 4 questions. So here you got 6 questions correct, let's say. Here you got 1 question correct. So that's 7 correct. Now there will be some inaccuracies also. So 21, let's say you get from here. Out of 8 VA, let's say you get 4 correct. Okay. Now if you get 4 correct, that's 12. Now let's account for the negatives. So these are our positives. Let's account for the negatives. So out of 33, let's say 2 and 3 inaccuracies, being very conservative, okay, and 3 here, right? And let's say all of them have a negative. So that's 33 minus 6. Okay, so you have to decide what is the percentile that you want to get out of VRC, right? If you are not aiming for, let's say, 99 percentile from VRC because QA and LRDI happen to be your strengths, then by all means, see at which percentile point we had which score last year, right? So 38, 39 last year fetched you a 99 percentile. Okay, so if you're not aiming for a 99 percentile, I'll tell you about what a 95 percentile was at. Okay, I'll just have to open a couple of sheets, right? So just see kitna score aap target kar rahe ho, and accordingly you can evolve a strategy for yourself. Okay, personally, I do not recommend leaving one entire RC passage because it's possible that the one RC that you've left, you could still attempt, let's say, about 2 questions from that. That's a positive 6 there, right? So I hope I'm making sense to you. All right. Okay. So Sonali, try to increase that to 3 RCs right now. Okay, if that is your current level, then increase it to 3 RCs. Okay, and from there we can see how it works, how the accuracy is affected, does it improve, does the score improve? Okay, and accordingly we can decide where to go from there. Okay, all right then. Hi Sri, good afternoon. I'm good, Virendra. I mean, better than I was earlier, but I can still be better. Okay, there's scope. And let us begin with today's session. So you have to give me a word that is most similar in meaning to the given word. A very easy, high frequency word. So the word is Martinet. Let's see what you say. Yes, Sri, you are absolutely correct. And also for all of you, we have attached a form here in the chat box also. It's there in the description box also. It asks you to provide a feedback of the YouTube sessions that we conduct for you. And you can also talk about any particular sessions that you want to appear on the channel, right? So we'll arrange sessions accordingly. So do take out time to fill that form. Okay. So, Martinet was actually the name of a French army general. Okay, so this general was very strict, right? And he was actually popular for the formations of the of his army that he created. Okay, they were so robot-like, and because he ruled with an iron hand over his army, he was known to be a tyrant. Somebody who was very strict. Somebody who was a strict disciplinarian. So that is the meaning of martinet, and the closest word here is as you can see, tyrant. Okay, so C is our answer here. Now look at these words. They are not related to martinet. Okay, let me tell you how. Now, assuasive. It comes, the verb form of this is assuage. When someone tries to assuage someone else, he or she tries to calm or soothe that person. Okay, so she tried to assuage the situation, she tried to assuage him. Assuasive is an adjective form of it. Okay, so let's say the balm that I brought for her proved to be assuasive for her pain, right? So, not related, right? This is about calm, soothing. Same here. Something that is soothing for the skin is called an emollient. Soothing for the skin. So, eliminate it, eliminate it. Insouciant. Yes, tyrant is a negative word, Shri. Tyrant, some synonyms are autocrat, right? Dictate, a dictator, a despot. These are synonyms. Insouciant. So one of my favorite words, someone who doesn't care, someone who's very carefree. Okay, this person does not care. Okay, so insouciant is the meaning of this. Insouciant is the word for this, meaning someone who's very carefree, someone who does not bother, someone who does not care. Right. Okay. Now, the second question, again, you have to find a synonym. That's good, Sonali, then that we are learning new words. Because if they seem familiar, then you already know them. Then you're not learning new words, isn't it? So Shri has answered D. All right. What about others? I'm so sorry. Okay, just one response. What about others? Yes. What has happened? At least give it a shot. No, here there's no negative marking, right? You can make guesses. I don't mind. Imbroglio, right? A related word is embroiled. So, imbroglio is a dilemma that you're in, a situation, a difficult situation that you're in. You know, when you're trapped in something, that is an imbroglio. That situation is called an imbroglio. Right. So embroiled, the word embroiled comes from here. If somebody is embroiled in a controversy, they are actually trapped in a controversy. So it's a complex situation, a difficulty. So let's call it complexity, complication, difficulty, etc. Now, phlegm is not related. Okay, so phlegm is the thick green viscous substance that you release when you have excessive cough, right? That is phlegm. So, phlegm is not related to imbroglio at all. Harrowing. A harrowing situation is a situation. Yes, is it a good situation if something harrows you, if you're harrowed by something, if you find it harrowing, that means it's very distressing for you, right? So it is something that is distressing. So you might think that okay, this is something that is similar. You know, imbroglio, harrowing could be the answer, right? But let's look at the other two also, and then we'll decide. Now, the third one is easy to eliminate, ignoramus, because an ignoramus is a noun. A person who's very ignorant, an ignorant person, जिसको ज्यादा knowledge नहीं है, right? That person is called an ignoramus. So ignoramus क्या है? It's a noun. Okay, so yes, today's session I have tried to keep the words of a slightly higher level, right? So that the idea is you learn new words, and trust me, these are high frequency words. I have not put anything that's too literary in nature, anything that's not used in your newspapers, magazines, etc. Okay. Good, Shri. See, Shri came across this. Similar to bemused. Yes, excellent. You related it to the previous class. Bemused is confused. So when you face an imbroglio, you are bemused. Excellent. Okay. Predicament is our answer, because a predicament also means a dilemma, a difficult situation that you're caught in. So this is the closest as compared to B. Okay, when I compare it to B, this is closer. That's what I should say. So harrowing is an adjective anyway. Imbroglio is a noun. Okay, predicament is a synonym and it's also a noun. We will mark this as our answer. Okay, perfect. All right, question 3. See, the instructions have changed, so please read them carefully. Okay, so most dissimilar in meaning. That means you had to give me an antonym. It's just another way of saying that give me an antonymous word. Dunce. Yes. So, puerile is what Rohit has said. What about others? Sonali says B. Okay. Hmm. Here there's something called a dunce cap. So, now it is banned in schools. Earlier, when students were punished severely, there used to be this concept of a dunce cap in schools. So a student who was, let's say, disobedient, or a student who was considered to be not so bright by his or her teachers, was sometimes punished by asking him or her to wear a dunce cap. So this kind of indicated that this person is not very bright. Okay, as we put it in a slang way, that this person is dumb. Although we should not use this word dumb in this way, right? It's offensive, but that was the implication there. So a dunce is someone who's not very bright, who's dim, right? When it comes to their brain, when it comes to their mind. A dullard is a synonym. So ye to ho gaya synonym, so that's why we eliminated. Right. Now, puerile. It's an adjective and it means someone who's very childish. Puerile. So puerile has to do with childishness, okay, lack of maturity. It does not mean that the person is dim, okay. Between these two, yes. C or D, she says, okay. The answer is D, savant. Distraught is when you're distressed. Okay, I went to her place and found her distraught. She was worried about a problem in her family. So distraught, distressed. Now, savant on the other hand is a genius, right? Somebody who's extraordinarily good in a particular field, right? Somebody is extraordinarily bright in a particular field. And there is a very specific usage of this term. So there are people who sometimes suffer from some disorders that make them slow in some things but extraordinarily good at other things. Right, so happens with a minority of autistic people, that they might not be good with social interactions, but they are extremely good in some subjects, let's say mathematics, music, etc. So such people are called savant. So savant is the answer here. It means somebody who is a genius, extraordinarily good in a subject. ठीक है? Okay then. Question 4. All right. Again, you had to choose the most dissimilar. What do you say? Imperious. Associate it with the imperious curse. I mean, you can associate it with that. Okay, B, C, D. All right. A or C. Okay. So imperious, it means someone who is very arrogant. You know, it's very related to the word imperial. It's related to empire. What was the idea of the British Empire? They wanted to dominate us, right? What does it mean when we say that this particular, let's say, organization has imperial tendencies in its industry? That means again, it wants to rule, it wants to dominate, right? Similarly, imperious, somebody who's very dominating and arrogant. So, what would be the opposite? Someone who's very flexible, someone who listen to you easily, very obedient. So, biddable, obedient, easily influenced. That's the opposite. Let's see how many of you said this. Okay, I got a couple of A's there. Good. Now, perilous. Associated with peril? Yes, what is a peril? I worry that she's in grave peril. I'm afraid. I think that she's in great peril. She is in a great danger. So perilous is simply dangerous. So please associate words with each other. So for instance, if you forget the meaning of imperious, you could associate it with imperial or empire, right? Or the imperious curse. So when someone puts this curse on you, they dominate you, right? They completely have control over you. So that's the imperious curse in Harry Potter. So in case you are Potterheads, You could associate it with Harry Potter. In case you're not, you could associate it with other words. You have choices. Perilous, peril. Wonderkind, wonderkind. You can associate this with wonder and this with kid. Okay, so a wonderkind is a wonder kid. Right? Good, Kanishka. Good, Shri. Uh, so wonder kid, it means this only a child prodigy, right? Somebody who's very good at something, somebody who's again genius at something at a young age. That person is called a wonder kid, right? Okay, so I hope you've learned some new words. Overweening is left, yes. Overweening. Over is already given here. This weaning is associated with you know uh, when you are excessively proud of yourself, when you're boastful, when you're overconfident. So overconfident. Okay, overweening is overconfident, and again it cannot be the antonym. Okay. Fifth question. Okay. Good to know, Kanishka. Same here. Fractious. Yes. Fractious. You can associate it with a fraction actually. Okay. So you thought it's because it's fractious, it would somehow be related to ratios in it. Ratios and fractions. Is that the logic that you've applied? Okay. Let's see this. So I've got D also. The answer here is felicitous. See, fraction क्या होता है? We divide a number, we divide a quantity into parts. That is fraction. So fraction, this root frac is concerned with division or some sort of dispute, right? So a person who's fractious is very quarrelsome. हमेशा लड़ता ही रहता है, right? Some synonyms would be belligerent and bellicose. Okay, they are also associated with the idea of fighting. Pugnacious. So such a person is a fractious person. So now dissimilar, somebody who is soft spoken, somebody who respects you. So if fractious is in the nature of quarrel, when you felicitate someone, you praise them for an achievement. So something that is felicitous is in the nature of praising, right? So that's why something that is pleasing is felicitous, whereas something that is quarrelsome, someone that is quarrelsome is fractious. है ना? So our answer here will be felicitous. It's a positive word, whereas this is a negative word. Right? Now, what does it mean? Factious. Fact is now a similar root. Fact also means when there is a faction, it comes from the word faction. Faction क्या होता है? Sometimes this happens in political parties that within a party a smaller party is formed, a smaller group of people who disagree with the bigger group, right? That is called a faction. A smaller group within a bigger group that disagrees with the bigger group. Okay, very common in political parties. Now, factious is again in the nature of provoking dissent, in the nature of provoking dissent in the group, जिससे group में लड़ाई हो जाए, जिससे some people disagree with the larger group, that is factious. So A भी नहीं हो सकता आंसर, है ना? So associate this with a fraction, this with a faction, and you'll not forget these words, right? What does it mean to ratiocinate? Is it a mathematical term, ratiocination? Yes. or does it, is it something related to psychology? Ratiocination, batao. All right, Imanshu, that's a very quick usage of the word. I'm sure that if she were in the session, she would also find some word for you. Yes. So what does ratiocinate mean? Does it mean that you are, doing some mathematical problem? It actually means it is a word related to logic. So it's a word related to your mind. When you're using your reason, your logic, okay, to arrive at some solution, okay, that is ratiocination. So in a way, when you reason, that is when you ratiocinate. When you logically reason, that is ratiocinate. So this is again not related. It is not related. उसका problem ये है कि dissimilar नहीं है. Okay, this is dissimilar because it's a positive word. It's in the nature of praise, whereas this is in the nature of fight. This is not related at all. So this will not be the answer. Okay. So जब हम most dissimilar ढूंढ रहे होते हैं, हम उसके opposite nature में ढूंढ रहे होते हैं, rather than simply marking something that is not related. Okay. Captious. Yes. Captious. Somebody again, a captious person is likely to fight. Okay, so you can learn all of these words together, right? The captious person will indulge in petty fights, will have petty objections, right? A factious person will divide your group into two. A fractious person, just like some neighbors who are always quarrelsome, right? So associate them with people you know, situations you know. ठीक है? Good. These emojis have been introduced here. Good. All right. Let me also make one. Okay. So here's an idiom. Fill in the blank for you. Let's see what you say. Tell me. Okay. So she says D. Zine also says D. Yes. So good. D is the answer. I'm glad that three of you said D. Now, this was a 20-30 second question in case you knew the meanings of these. And this one is a pretty common idiom. Okay, cutting corners. What does it mean to cut corners? See, this is a let's just understand the origin of this. So, let's say this is a park. Now, if you cut corners of this park and cover this park like this, right, you will be quicker, right? So when you cut corners, you take shortcuts, and usually not very good shortcuts. So this is a negative idiom. When someone takes shortcuts that are usually not recommended to achieve something, that's when he or she is cutting corners. So they are not cutting corners for gullible investors. They are duping the investors themselves. ऐसा नहीं है वो investors के लिए आगे जाके shortcuts ले रहे हैं. No, they're not doing that. They are rather duping investors themselves. These investors are very vulnerable, very gullible. Now, barking up the wrong tree with no. Barking up the wrong tree means that you are going in the wrong direction. Okay, you're not following the right path, which is going to lead to positive results. That is barking up the wrong tree. Right? I want you to look up the origin of this idiom. It's very interesting. A website that I would recommend to look up the origins of various idioms is this. It is full of idioms. It is very interesting because it also categorizes idioms by, let's say all idioms related to color are categorized in one place. All related to animals in one place. It also gives you the origin, which is something that I find fabulous because you remember the idiom then for a long, long period of time. Okay, so go through this. This will be your incentive to go to the website and check this out. Now, not playing with a full deck. This is again a derogatory idiom. It's offensive. When you say that someone is not playing with a full deck, that means you are calling them mentally challenged in some way, right? So basically, let's say you're playing cards, right? And you are not playing with a full deck of cards. That game is not likely to lead to very good results, or that's not a very efficient way to play a game. So when we say that someone is not playing with a full deck, here deck refers to in a way their brain, and we are calling them mentally challenged in some way, right? So derogatory, offensive. But इनमें से कोई भी fit नहीं हो रही, right? Pulling the wool over the eyes of. When you pull the wool over the eyes of someone, there's this idiom. If I am correct, in Hindi we say आंखों पे पानी फेरना, right? So या किए कराए पर पानी फेरना होता है. So basically किसी को धोखा देना, that is किसी को बेवकूफ बना देना, to cheat someone, to dupe someone, by, let's say, keeping them in the when you keep them in the dark, that is called pulling the wool over the eyes of someone. ठीक है? So far so good? Okay, then the next one. Let's see what you say. Which one out of these, here you don't even need to know the meanings of these idioms in advance. You can just see which of these is the most unrealistic scenario and answer accordingly. Hanji, which of these is the most unrealistic scenario? It is C, right? When pigs fly. Pigs don't fly. So a person as habitually late as she is would come on time to meetings only when pigs fly. Okay. उससे पहले तो नहीं हो सकता है. Can't happen before that. So, C is the answer. Good. Now, uh, if someone doesn't, if someone says, I wouldn't even hurt a fly, that means they are very sensitive to other living beings, to other people. So that's when we say, oh, she wouldn't hurt a fly. I can't believe that she has been accused of thrashing that child. Okay, so when someone is very sensitive. The phrase here is as mad as a hornet. A hornet is actually a wasp, tataya, right? So a wasp, how it just moves from one place to another and then suddenly it stings you. So a mad hornet is definitely going to sting. So someone who's very angry, someone who's enraged is said to be as mad as a hornet. Okay? So associate these with, let's say, people you know, situations that you can imagine, and you'll remember them. A bull in a china shop. Now this is an idiom. A bull in a china shop. इसका क्या मीनिंग होता है? It's a very common idiom again. Just like cut corners is common, a bull in a china shop is common. Someone who is likely to break things. See, china here is bone china, of which your cups, teacups, etc. are made of. Imagine a bull entering a china shop. It'll break everything, right? So when someone breaks things, when someone is very clumsy, when someone damages things, when someone is not very careful in situations that do require one to be careful. So such a person is called a bull in a china shop, right? जहां जाते हैं तबाही मचा देते हैं, right? Such people are called a bull in a china shop. Okay. Eighth, spelling questions. So which one is incorrectly spelled? A 20-second question, this one. Correct, Virendra. As mad as a hornet, correct example. Okay, so you say that it should be minuscule. I understand. But actually, both the spellings are accepted. So for minuscule, both the spellings are accepted. Why? This one comes from minute. ये वाला spelling minute से related है, minus से related है in fact. This one is related to mini. Okay, so something that's minuscule is very small in size. So this is fine, no error here. Rapo is also fine. Okay. Is millennium incorrect? Does it have a single L, a double L? Does it have both? Yes. Who will tell me? Millennium has been spelled correctly. It has two N's and two L's. Yehi spelling hoti hai. The other is not the correct spelling. Okay. So this is correct. This is not the answer. This is not the answer. So who are these people? Cognoscenti. ये कौन होते हैं? कोई बहुत ही सेंटिमेंटल लोग होते हैं? Is it? इसलिए सेंटी लगा दिया हमने. Cognoscenti. Sorry. So, cognoscenti are people who are very well informed. See, cogn actually means to know, right? That's why we use it in cognition, we use it in recognition. जब हम किसी को पहचान लेते हैं दोबारा से, when we recognize someone, suddenly we know, oh, we saw him or her earlier, right? So, cogn means to know. So cognoscenti are people who know something very well. So usually experts in a particular field. Connoisseurs is a synonym. Okay, connoisseurs is a synonym. इसका spelling गलत है. This is not the spelling of cognoscenti. The spelling is SC. Okay, तो ये senti, ये sentimental senti नहीं है, senti. Right, cognoscenti. Okay. All right, all right. Now, rapport. Yes, I have a good rapport with my teachers, right? So I have a harmonious relationship with them. That is rapport, right? So abhi hamara answer is B. So through spelling questions also I'm trying to teach you some new words. This one is easy. Yes, you know the meanings of these words. Incorrectly spelt word. Yes. Acrophobia. Rapport is harmonious relationship. Okay. When you have a friendly relationship with someone, you have a good rapport with them. That's how we put it. Rapport with someone. Excellent, Vedant. Pratik, Nidhi, Kanishka, all of you are correct. And please let me know if I don't pronounce your names correctly, okay? So I just go by what is written. You can always correct me. C, okay. Acoustic, absolutely. There's a single C. There are no double C's there. Acoustic. All the others are correct. Accumulate, gather, acumen. When you have the intellect for something, okay, the mind for something. So if someone has business acumen, they're very sharp when it comes to business. Acro, heights. Phobia, fear. So fear of heights. ठीक है? Okay. Odd word out. All right. So find the odd word out. Okay. Excellent. So I'm glad that you knew the meanings of these words, pedantic, didactic, and punctilious. Someone who is pedantic likes to show off his or her knowledge. And how does he or she show off? By finding your minor faults, right? Um, Yesterday itself, I was very tempted to do this. I don't remember now. Someone wrote a word incorrectly and I wanted to correct them, but I've learned this lesson the hard way that you shouldn't do that, right? So, for pedantic, when someone likes to show off his or her knowledge by pointing faults with others. Didactic, someone who has a very teaching and preaching and authoritative nature. Okay, so teaching, preaching, authoritative. Okay, then punctilious. Punctilious, punct. So this punct is the punct in punctuation also. It means point. Punct means point. Okay. Punctual में भी यही punct है. When you are always on point. Okay, when you're always on time. So punctilious, someone who's concerned even about the minutest points. So such a person will care about the smallest little details. Okay, so the smallest details. So such people, so for instance, pedantic people, when they find your minor faults, that means they're concerned about the minor details also, right? So punctilious, didactic, pedantic, all related. Blithe, on the other hand, what does it mean? Carefree, careless, in fact. Okay, so some in novels you will see authors using it in a positive sense, carefree. Otherwise the word has a negative sense also, careless. Okay, so D is our answer. Good, most of you said D. Okay, odd word out. Absolutely. A teacher should be pedantic, Virendra. So when I am a teacher, I am pedantic. I point even the minutest errors of my students, right? So for instance, when they ask me, when will you take the next class? I tell them that we give classes, or as a teacher, I give classes, I give lectures, right? Then when they ask me, when can I give the next mock? I tell them that we take mocks. As a student, we take mocks. We take tests. So in English, it's the opposite. Usually we translate it from our mother tongues, from Hindi, और हम सोचते हैं कि क्लास देते हैं so it should be give classes, और टेस्ट लेते हैं so it should be take tests. It's the opposite. Sorry, test देते हैं so it should be give tests, but it's the opposite. We take tests in English, okay, and we give classes or lectures. We give classes or lectures, which now reminds me what I wanted to correct yesterday. I wanted to correct this. Okay, yesterday somebody wrote take class. Okay, so I wanted to correct that. Anyway, ये सही है, ठीक है? All right, A, C, B. Okay. So, laggard, someone who is lagging behind, right? The name itself has lag. The word itself has lag. So, a laggard is usually a person who's very slow, who is usually used in the technology space, usually used when you launch innovative products. Laggards are those people who are very slow to catch up with that product. So let's say someone who's not started using Instagram even now would be a laggard, right? So such people are laggards. Now, agile, on the other hand, someone very flexible. Lissom, again used for someone who has a very flexible body. Okay. Fleet-footed, same. It's like you can fly. Your feet are so flexible as if you could fly. So, flexible, flexible, flexible. C is the answer. Clear? So, any word whose meaning is not clear, I hope you learned some new words today and you will revise them. Very important. Yes, and use them. So, if someone is slow to catch up with you, don't outrightly call them laggards. Okay, they might get offended, but you can always think that, okay, this person is a laggard, right? So this is how you can sometimes use vocabulary. Sometimes you shouldn't use offensive words outrightly. Okay. So I hope you learned something new, and we are going to have more sessions on vocabulary. Plus, I'm already running a series on RC passages. It got interrupted last week because of my health. And this weekend, on Saturday at 12 p.m., I will talk to you about ecology and biology RC passages, right? So do attend. Moreover, I keep conducting sessions on the app as well. So on the app on 15th and 16th, on both the dates at 7 p.m. I'll see you with sessions on para summary. There's one on para summary and there's one on para jumbles. I remember, right? So you can attend these. And in case you want to see how we conduct our paid classes, right? What is our pedagogy like? A new word for you in case you don't know this word, pedagogy. Then you can click on the description box, right? There's a link in the description box. When you click on that link, you will get access to our free trial for 3 days. Okay. All right. I am sure. Okay, Himanshu, you are angry. So Himanshu is as mad as a hornet, right? At his sister today. That I'm glad to know, Shri. You know these faces by now, right? And you can be one of them. You can join our CAT 23 comprehensive program. These are its features in detail. The link is there in the description box. And to make these accessible for you, we have a scholarship test coming up on 25th at 11 a.m. Right? You have to register for it now. Also, in case all of you are intrigued as to how to get into IIM Ahmedabad, then you should definitely attend this interactive session where Gautam sir will converse with Vipula, and they'll see what Vipula did to actually get into IMA, what kind of percentiles are required, right? So a lot of the students think that, okay, I need 99.999. You'll see that's not the case. Okay, so do watch this session on the 17th at 7 p.m. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Oh, that's a good strategy, Virendra. Actually, to make someone learn vocabulary the harsh way, the hard way. This is an ongoing series. You're aware of it, and we'll keep conducting it till CAT. So keep joining us for this and increasing your knowledge. Right? Do join us on various social media platforms, and I'm sure you've subscribed to the channel. You can download the app to attend my app sessions as well. All right then. Bye bye. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome. Bye bye.